Good morning, one and all, and welcome to an indoor morning walk when it is actually quite a very nice day today. Now, you might be thinking, why? Partly because, unfortunately, the field where we would do the good morning walk is unfortunately very much waterlogged. Uh, Nothing I can do about that, unfortunately. So, even though it is a very nice day today, just due to conditions, we are unfortunately forced inside. Nothing I could do about that, unfortunately. That's just well, nature at work, unfortunately. Nothing I can do about that. But as I've said many times in the past, when you do a show that is primarily based outdoors, sometimes you are at the mercy of the elements, and you've got no choice sometimes but to be at their mercy. But apart from that, as always, thank you very much, everyone, for joining us today. So, good morning to you, wherever you may be. And yes, good morning to you. Welcome to the silly season again. But there is some sort of stuff going on. So, we're going to talk about some good stuff this morning. Primarily to do with X, because Elon is messing about again, not surprisingly. But before we do, let's greet everyone in chat. So if you haven't said good morning already, say, pop yourself in. And if you are, again, lurking in the shadows, don't be afraid to say good morning. But good morning, Mark Williamson. Good morning to you. Dave W. Good morning to you. One Angry Pagan. Good morning to you. Catho G. Good morning to you. Pretty Bird. Good morning to you. Haggard Shanks. Morning to you. Marble Bunny Records. Good morning to you. Question: who will win? Who will win the general election next year? well, well. To be honest, actually let's talk about this, because there's a lot of people going. Hang on, let's bring this up. Here we are. Voting intention. Trackers. Here we are. So I think here we are. So this is the YouGov. There we go. This is the current YouGov poll as of the 31st of July. So this, I think, is a bit behind, but there are a bit more than that. And as you can see at the moment, based on the voting intention there, you've got 26%. Now, there are a lot of people. There are some people out there going, "Oh, don't trust the polls. Don't trust the polls because the polls have been wrong before." Now, here's the thing. They are referring to very much so 2016, and yes, 2016. A lot of polls did say that Donald Trump might be in the outside percentage chance to win. Might be. But those polls were in the margin of error. They predicted that, Hillary might win, but also Trump might win. And ever since then, people have been like, oh, you can't trust polls. You can't trust polls. You can't trust polling. And it has been very, very, very much so because of that poll, not only that one, of course, in 2016 about Trump, but also about Brexit as well. And remember, both times those polls were well within the margin of error. However, we have had, and people forget, a local election last May. And those local May elections, under those pollings, said that, the Conservatives would have a very, very bad night. What did they end up having? They had a very, very, very bad night. So now we have a lot of polls and a lot of research, a lot of, people looking into these polls, the voting intentions, what's going on here. There's a lot of pollsters actually saying that the results for the Conservatives might be even worse because some pollsters that have been doing polls are not taking tactical voting into consideration. So some polls may be even worse for the Tories if the pollsters taking those, the results had taken them, tactical voting into consideration. Like, they might be even worse. So bear that in mind. And recently, we are still looking at a overwhelming Labour majority currently. And the big one we're still looking at, of course, is the Tories in less than 100. I think the latest one that came out, I think it was this week, put them at 90 MPs. And yet, there are a lot of people out there who go, oh, don't trust the polls, don't trust the polls, don't trust the polls. Here's the thing. Polls are pretty accurate. They're not always right, but more often than not, they are pretty damn accurate. And in referring to 2016, the votes to sort of win the 2016 for Donald Trump and, of course, Brexit, the polls were well within the margin of error.
I don't know that one.
Okay. Thank you, Alexa. But anyway, that's the polling intention. And that really raises that question, because a lot of people have been going around, both on the right and left, saying, "Oh, don't trust the polls, because they were wrong before, they could be wrong again. We might be better." But to be honest, I think it's more people on the right hoping that that those numbers don't actually come to pass. We'll see what happens, but there's your question. And like I say, it is very, very likely that Labour are going to win the next election. And as I've said, we're probably going to get a very, very progressive majority in Parliament. That will be good. If you've seen my video about Angela Rayner recently in the new video about Angela Rayner responding to those leaks that Labour are going to water down the workers' rights bill. She's like, no, we're going to come out, we're going to do this, and this. I mean, getting rid of 0-hour contracts has been a central point of every single Tory manifesto dating back to David Cameron, but they've done nothing. They've done nothing to actually do it. So that is a colossal step forward if they can do that. So, like I say, if they can really do that in the first 100 days, that will be a very, very, very good achievement for Labour, and something very good for a lot of workers here in the UK, because I think that will do very, very good, especially because what are the Conservatives going to do in response to that? I highly doubt that they are. And you only have to bring up on the doorstep, Conservatives the past 13 years have said, we're going to get rid of 0-hour contracts. What have they done? Done nothing about getting rid of 0-hour contracts. But anyway, Back to it. Where were we? Helen, good morning to you. Mitchell and Boo, good morning to you. Ben Ridings, good morning to you. Sabine, good morning to you. Very hot and sunny in the south of France. Well, it looks like the sun has finally come, but unfortunately for those of you arriving later, the field is very, very much waterlogged. Unfortunately, I can't I can't go out and really do a show when it's in that such a state. Unfortunately, that's the dangers when you do a show in the outside in the wild. But Martin, good morning to you. Greetings from Hull. They fully expect a Labour victory. We can't afford any complacency. Yep, exactly, Martin. We really can't afford any complacency. This is why I've said, look at tactical voting. In fact, there is. So these are. If you put in tactical voting, it's the first result, so it's not that hard to find. It'll come up with this. And since you are from Hull, here's your constituencies for Hull. As you can see, tactical vote: Labour, Labour, Labour. Currently for Solihull, not sure. I suspect they're probably still gathering the information about that. But as you can see, there's your choice. Now, again, anyone else living in Hull, make sure you look at your tactical voting intentions and find out who to vote for. I've said before, if I were anywhere else where I was and I had to vote Lib Dem, then I'd vote Lib Dem. You know, if it meant beating the Tories and that's what it takes to beat the Tories, then so be it. That's what we really, really have to do in this case. Haggard Shanks, good morning to you as well. A bit more than one is a huge majority, but any other is, of course, a small majority. 18% still going for the hung parliament route. Yeah, there's a lot of people, and I think we've talked about this before about obviously what the options are. Like the best of both worlds is, of course, a Labour win and Labour win a big majority. Then you've got the potential of Labour winning, but with a small majority, and then hung parliament. And hung parliament is really sort of middle of the road territory. It's not bad, but it's not good either. To say in this case, we just have to see, obviously, how it works out, and of course, the worst scenario starts if the Tories manage to cling on themselves. So maybe they once again go and make a deal with the DUP again, like Theresa May did, or you know, maybe they make a deal with the Liberal Democrats to hang on in there, and the Liberal Democrats say, "Oh well, we're gonna like they did in the last Parliament." I mean, do people remember that after the first coalition? Do people remember like what the Lib Dems like what their messaging was? It was the worst possible messaging ever, because you had at that first the election that brought the coalition in, you had who was the leader at the time? Oh, Sheffield Hallam can see his face. Nick Clegg, that's it. So you had Nick Clegg in doing honestly really, really strong advocacy in the swing seats that the Lib Dems went on to win, which allowed them to obviously go into the coalition. And I remember there being at university at the time, and just seeing a crowd. And then all of a sudden, they must have brought out a box or something. Then all of a sudden, up pops Nick Clegg, and of course he's there to talk about the Lib Dems' promise that they're going to cancel university tuition fees. And I have always said the biggest mistake they ever made, first of all, was backing out of that promise. And the other thing they should say is why they did it. Like, why did they cancel that after it being almost a central plank, gaining them a lot of votes at that time? It gained them a ton of votes, a ton of attention running on that platform, saying, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it. So that it gained them so much traction, and they went into the coalition, oh, we can't do it. Or we're dropping the pledge. And what happened to the Liberal Democrats after that? Everyone who voted for them lost faith in them. And after that, for quite some substantial time, and really, it's only really been the past 2 or 3 years they've managed to regain some form of traction. But I'll tell you now, there are a lot of people still out there that are still really peeved that they dropped that pledge. So there's still a lot of Lib Dem mistrust. And I always say they should actually say why they dropped it and what it was they got in return for not pushing that. But yeah, we'll see what happens. And then, of course, they came in after that election. I think it was the 2015 election, I think it was. They came in and they were like, oh, what you need to do is you need to continue voting for us to get another hung parliament, because we can soften, like the Conservatives, we can soften their stance. And that was their big play in that election. Meanwhile, what did the Conservatives do? Oh, everything that happened in the coalition wasn't our fault. It was the Lib Dems. It was all their fault. It was their fault. Anything bad that happened is the Lib Dems' fault. Lib Dems' fault. It's their fault. It was the worst. It was the worst campaign I have seen for years when they did that back in the day. And yeah, wild. Absolutely wild. Then of course, Nico, good morning to you. Zara, good morning to you as well. Alma, good morning to you. Loki's children, good morning to you. Do P, good morning to you. There, we're all caught up now. We're all caught up. Nico, if the Tories get more than 0 seats, that will be telling for the English level of willingness to change. That'll never happen. The Tories, being the way that they are, will never ever get 0 seats. There will always be some seats that they will win. It's just a game that it plays. Yes, nice to dream about, but you know, it's the reality that they are going to win some seats. But no, they're not going to walk into that general election and come out with 0. If it was 0, then their polling intentions would be in the negatives, like truly in the negatives, if that was going to happen. But that has no chance of happening, unfortunately, as much as we all would like it to happen. But there you go. Zara, listen to these small groups who lobby Parliament, what they are asking the Lib-Leb coalition to unify. Wouldn't surprise me if they would. But you know, as I warn a lot of people, in the Lib Dems, there are a lot of economic conservatives in the Lib Dems, and the problem would be, let's say the Lib Dems became the kingmakers in a general election, and let's say it was this hung parliament where the Conservatives generally managed to hang on. I fear they might swing to the Conservatives for that reason, because we're economically conservative, so there's more of them, more of those MPs in the party, and they swing towards the Conservatives. I would fear that, because in any hung parliament situation, and especially in something like that, if that possibility happens, there would obviously be coalition talks going on. We'd have to see generally what would happen. And there's a lot of people talking about the possibility of that happening right now, that Starmer and Ed Daly have talked, about if there is a hung parliament, what they would certainly be looking for in that and going into coalition together. Now, have they actually talked about that? I think Starmer would be a fool not to. I think he would be an absolutely fool not to prepare for that possibility. So I think they have talked. So if it does come to it, I think they will go with Labour. But I worry in a potential situation where they are like the proper kingmakers, then I would worry that the shall we say the economic conservatives in the Liberal Democrats might try to push them towards a going to coalition with the Conservatives. That's what I generally would worry about. And yeah, you are right, Patrick H. Yeah, they will never admit about talking about hung parliament. Yeah, exactly. Openly, you are right. They would never ever do that. But I really do believe Starmer and Ed Daly have probably talked about that possibility, about a coalition and what that means. Because you've seen recently a lot of these big like Labour rallies going up and down the country. I think that is because the Labour Party is prepared at any moment to go into a general election. They are not sleeping on this. They are ready. And I think a lot of this campaigning that we've seen of Starmer going up and down, and around the country, doing all these speeches, I think those places were booked because they thought there would be a general election now. So they've got all those places booked. Well, they think might as well go do them. if we've booked them, if we've paid for them, might as well go use the opportunity to go and do them. So I think that's why all that's been done. I really do think that's been done. As long as you don't come back to my EU, we're coming back. Don't worry. Give it time, but we're coming back. So yeah, in terms of, we said, we've talked about voting intentions. Please, please, please do remember, vote tactically. Think about what's the best way to sort of beat the Tories, how you can beat them, and tactical voting is best. And like I say, you just have to Google. Just have to Google it, and you will pretty much find tactical voting straight away. Tactical voting website already, by the looks of it, prepared. It even says on the website. I don't know if we can get back to it. Here we are. Yeah, here it is. ready for the next election of 2024, 2025. So whoever's behind this website certainly thinks 2024, 25. However, when is the next election? Question mark. Tactical voting information on this website has been updated, ready for the next general election. However, we do not yet know when this election will be called. The election is widely expected to be in 2024 or early 2025. But if the government falls or a prime minister decides to call it sooner, then it could happen any time at a relatively short notice. So they are right. We don't know when that vote's going to be. We really, really, really don't know when that's going to be happening. So it'll be fun to see. Oh, but we've got to cover this because this is what we called the stream, and I can't believe he's doing this. If you've seen this come out, I think it was yesterday. This came out. Elon Musk is taking the block as a feature off X or Twitter. So, as long as social media has existed, there has been a block feature. This is absolutely insane that you would take away this block feature. And I saw someone yesterday celebrating that finally Turning Points UK can no longer block the the people that they don't like commenting all their crazy wacky stuff. But the thing is, your instant reaction to this should be, what about the safety of people? Because I was on Labour Social, not last night, but the week before. And with two of the guests that I was on, they were talking about how they got dogpiled on. And you had Supatansky. She was talking about the fact that even though she's got quite a big sort of following, the amount of dogpiling that she gets on, and she was talking about how she could just, block those people. Sean, I think he said he only had like 600 followers, and yet he was dogpiled by what's his face? Graham. Is it Graham Lineman? Whatever. Graham Lineman, the guy who created like the IT Crowd, Father Ted, etc. So it stops that. So it stops so many of the safety features from doing stuff like that. Stops, harassment, stalkers. So many of these safety features just be able to block people being able to do. And this is going to, I think, accelerate people moving away from Twitter. Well, we're still going to call it Twitter. Let's face it, that's what it is. This is what we're going to see. I think even more people moving away from Twitter even more. Not that exodus hasn't happened already. It's going to just speed it up. Speed it up even more. Oh, Ben Ridings, what does dogpiling mean? It basically means that a larger person sort of goes on you, so you get a lot of attention very, very quickly, and they all sort of, pile onto like one of your tweets that you've made. Like I say, go watch last week when I was on Labour Social, and Sean talking about what happened to him. That's a perfect example of dogpiling and why Block should exist. But we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. But I think this is yet another stupid Musk decision. I think this is an absolute another stupid Musk decision. There is no way I think this is going to get kept, because Musk is already in trouble with the EU over his hate speech stance, or should we say lack of policing hate speech on the platform, which since he has taken over has skyrocketed. You also have the fact that Apple, the Apple shop, and Google require social media apps to have a block feature. So if Musk goes through with this, then not only does it get deleted from the Apple App Store, it also gets deleted from the Google App Store. That was like the idea that that this is a good idea is so ridiculous. Like, what in his right mind thinks that this is a good idea? Yeah, as Jez says here, yeah, if blocks are removed, it means more aggressive arguments, stalking, docs, swats, potential real-world assaults. But that's all clicks as far as Elon is concerned. Yeah, and what's his reasoning? I think he just said it was that apparently it made no sense. Yeah, this is it. So the block function allows users of specific accounts from contacting them, seeing their posts, or following them. He said that block is going to be deleted as a feature, except for DMs, that's direct messaging. Musk said in a post on the platform, later saying, quote, "It makes no sense." And it does. It really does make no sense. It really, really does make no sense. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Elon says he's a free speech fundamentalist, except if the speech is about him. Exactly. Exactly. We all know what happened to Elon Jet. Yeah. I'm hugely disappointed in Graham Linehan. He's gone right off the boil. He almost came across like Lawrence Fox now. You know who else I discovered this morning, who was also turned into like a complete apparent right-wing troll? Robert Beltram. And I was really upset when when I learned this. If you don't know who Robert Beltram is, he played Chakotay in Star Trek, and he has become a complete, absolute right-wing troll. Um, he's also trying to scab on the actors' strike as well, apparently, from what I've heard. So yeah, honestly, really, really disappointed in that. You know, that is so disappointing. So disappointing on that. Yeah. Thunderpuck must be feeling more vindicated by the day, citing his opinions about Elon. This is it. This is it, Bakura. Thunderfoot, for years, for a number of years, has been saying what an idiot, what a fool that Thunderfoot really is. Not what an idiot, shall we say, Elon Musk really is, not Thunderfoot. Um, and he's been doing things about all the Tesla stuff, the Hyperloop stuff, SpaceX stuff. I mean, let's just bring up some of the, because I'm pretty sure he's got. Um, but yeah, he goes back quite a while. I mean, you've got dumbest rebranding in history. That one's about Musk. Elon Musk's 5-year countdown. That's talking about potential Tesla, Tesla thing. Elon Musk, unbelievably stupid, legit defense. Musk, I invented AI, busted. Musk, Twitter mega fail. Starship, SpaceX goes boom. Musk gets world record for losing money. Elon Musk debunks the Tesla semi booed. Twitter bannings, Tesla crashing. Tesla semi driver's failure. Why you should never believe Elon Musk, part 33 and a third. Elon Musk, big mistake. 10 years of lies busted. Elon Musk, you war profiteering. He's profiteering off the whole Starlink thing. Again, Elon Musk busted. That was over a year ago. The cult of Musk busted. Elon Musk actually built this loop extension, talking about that. SpaceX facing bankruptcy. Gold is the battery that will revolutionize everything, talking again about Musk. Elon Musk invents underground traffic jam. Hyperloop under the Atlantic busted. Elon Musk granted rights to dig under Las Vegas. Elon Musk, the smartest person in any room anywhere. The Virgin Hyperloop busted because that's something else not a lot of people talked about. Yeah. It's generally quite insane. The level of just the level of stuff. And you are right. Thunderfoot has been doing this for years when it comes to Elon Musk, and he's been calling him out for years. Just trying to think, where's his like oldest video? I don't know if you can you do searches on the channel anymore? You can. So here's all the Musk videos he's got. Let's try and find like his oldest one, because he's been doing this debunking Elon Musk for some time. Oh no, is it? Oh no, it's linking all the videos. Oh well, never mind. But yeah, he's gone after Musk for quite some time. I think he has been consistently the one guy saying just what all the just what all like the nonsense and calling it out of all the stuff that Musk has done over the years. So yeah, you've got to give it to Thunderfoot. You know, I don't agree with all his opinions throughout the years of stuff he said, but I'll tell you what, when it came to Musk, yeah, he was dead on. He was absolutely dead on for years, right about Elon Musk. So, and if anything, this whole Twitter debacle, I think, fully proves just what an absolute nightmare a person Elon Musk must be to deal with. I just cannot fathom how bad it must be to work for Elon Musk. And by the way, speaking of people's safety, this was obviously going to happen. This was obviously going to happen. But just read the headline. Russian Oh, there we go. There we go. I accidentally clicked my my back button. It just threw me out of the stream. Hopefully we're still going. Never mind. Hopefully we're back. Hopefully we're back. On that, yeah. I see the chat's catching up. Um, yeah. Whoops. Whoops. Whoops about that. Yeah. Technical human difficulties we called fat fingeredness. When you accidentally have one of your your little back buttons and just clicked it. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, I'm back. Where were we? Yeah, here we are. Yeah, here we are. This was obviously going to happen. Russian women living in fear as Wagner convicted murderers return home as free men. Concerned that convicts re-entering society after stints in Ukraine will bring a wave of murder, rape, and domestic violence. And this is already happening, apparently. And the Russian government is trying to cover this up. Like, there has already been, I think there was one really high-profile guy who had been fighting in Ukraine, who had been committed of murder. And the Russian government is trying to cover up the fact that these people are heavily reoffending. Because remember in mind, these were already pretty violent criminals that have been sent to war to fight in places like Bakhmut, which, from all accounts, has been one of the hardest fought battles of the war so far. And we're even seeing sort of Ukrainian soldiers have to deal with like PTSD and all kinds of stuff that we see from soldiers who go through extreme combat situations. So what happens when you put these violent criminals through that and then put them back into society? What did they think was going to happen to these people when they put them back into society? What did they think? Yeah, Demeter. Yeah, this is old. It's happening for like 6 to 8 months. There was one grandma finished from one of these guys. Yeah, it doesn't surprise me because they're trying to keep this under wraps, very much so. So, doesn't surprise me that these people have been, have been doing this. Yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Yeah, when I first heard Wagner started recruiting in prison, this was my first thought: the people at risk from these criminals. Yeah, and bear in mind, most of them, their contracts were like 6 months to a year, I think, depending on the severity of it. And because Wagner has now pulled out, they've got no need for these guys anymore. So they're all being, set free and set loose. All I can say is, there's some bright minds in Russia that come up with some ridiculous plans. I mean, oh, this was obviously going to happen, and all this is really going to take for this to blow up. And it would not surprise me if this became a major issue. Is one of these guys, one of these prisoners, goes and commits like a mass high profile killing. Like they either go do some sort of, you know, um, mass shooter event, or they go and kill someone in Russia who's like really high profile. And then they can't hide it anymore after that because there will be a massive outcry. That's all it's going to take. But as someone has already pointed out, yeah, Demeter, this has already been happening, and they're trying to cover it up. They're going to all try and cover all these up, and it's going to be, and they won't be able to. That's the thing, because once one of these guys does something high profile, I think people will start asking more and more questions. And of course, as you said, Nico said, yeah, now the FSB will cover it up. Well, even the FSB can only cover up so much. And all I think it will take is maybe one of these to become super high profile. And oh boy, there might be some serious pushback against that. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But we are coming to the end of today. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm now going to go back instead of going outside. I'm going to go walking in Faroon because I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. Very, very much enjoying playing Baldur's Gate 3 at the moment. And then I'm off to go play Taskmaster this evening with a group of friends. So yes, enjoy yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your day. As we say, if you can't be sensible, at least be safe. Keep yourself safe. Enjoy yourself because it is quite hot. Wear sunscreen. What class? Bard. The best D&D class. The best D&D class. But as always, have an absolutely fantastic day. And yes, we'll see you all again very soon. Hopefully, of course, fingers crossed. The field will be a little less waterlogged, but we'll see. as always, thank you very much for joining us. And of course, we'll see you all next time.